In this video we're going to be taking our first look at the Brooks Hyperion GTS. This up-tempo stability shoe could be the saviour to all us stability shoe wearers. And yes, people, rejoice, we may have found an up-tempo stability shoe. The hunt for a decent up-tempo stability shoe has been going on for millions of years because the manufacturers don't make fast shoes for people who have stability needs. And I'm not sure why that is, because there's so many people who require a stability shoe but also want a fast stability shoe. But look, we've got to give the guys at Brooks some credit at the front end of this video because they've gone and made one. Right, so the Brooks Hyperion GTS, I'm going to tell you things I like about the shoe, things I don't like about the shoes, and whether you should actually consider this as your sort of up-tempo daily trainer. Okay, so firstly, I've got to give Brooks some kudos, not only for making this shoe, but the way it looks. Now, I give the guys at Brooks, I would say, yeah, a bit of a hard time. But I think this shoe looks awesome. So well done, Brooks. Now, where do we go? All right, let's do stats and features quickly and then we'll come on to those likes and dislikes. Okay, so there's not much in terms of official data out there, right? Oh, by the way, let's do the disclaimer. I was going to say something else then, but don't know what it was. So I was sent this shoe by Brooks. They're not paying me for the review. I'm not getting compensated other than obviously the shoe is for free kind of thing. But as you hopefully know by now on this channel, I'm going to say anything I like. Anyway, got out of the way. Okay, so let's do the stats and features, but I don't know too much. The guys from Brooks sent me the shoe, but they didn't give me any sort of data about the shoe. The stuff that the stats I'm gonna give you is stuff that I've found on the internet. Okay, so the things we do know, this is going to be $140. It's 8-point-something ounces in my UK 9.5. It fits true to size, by the way. We've got this lovely mesh upper. It's the DNA Flash, full-length DNA Flash running through the shoe. We've got a very great looking outsole, which is very similar to what's on the Hyperion Max. It's super grippy. I'll come on to that in a minute. But yeah, it fits true to size. Plenty of room in the toe box, people. Loads of room, actually. It's breathable. We've got the guide rails running around the side to add the stability. Now, there's no posting or anything like that in the shoe, but it's there like a bowling alley lanes. You know what you give the kids? That's what it's there to do. Now, I've seen 25mm of stack on some, who was it? I think it was Doctors of Running, but check that out in terms of the stack height. But it is a low stack shoe, people. It really is a traditional feeling shoe in terms of the stack heights, which I don't think is actually a bad thing. Now, they've dropped, within the Brooks lineup, they've dropped the Hyperion Tempo name. They've just called in this now the Hyperion. You've got this GTS version and then you've got the normal Hyperion, but they've actually dropped the Tempo name because it's going to go Hyperion, Hyperion Max, Hyperion Elite. Got that? So like I said, this is an up-tempo daily trainer. This is for somebody who's looking for a faster shoe for faster workouts. This is not a shoe that I would say you really want to go over sort of 10k, 6 miles in. Yeah, you could probably bust out 15, maybe 20k in it. But I think, you know, you've got to be going at a rate of knots because of the lack of stack, because of the firmer feeling midsole, which I think really helps to get you on your toes and make you feel fast because of the lightness of the shoe with the DNA Flash. It's just that feeling of up-tempo-ness. I just made up that word. So yeah, because of the lightness of the shoe, it makes you want to run fast, which I think is what it's there to do, which is great. And the DNA Flash, the nitro-infused midsole compound that we've got here, is lightweight. I say it's well under 9 ounces. It just makes you feel pretty good and that you want to run fast. Now, the DNA Flash isn't the softest compound in the world. It does get better over time, just as a heads up, but it is quite firm. So you've got to be aware of that before you purchase this shoe. The shoe reminds me very much of the Kinvara from Saucony. It's close to that. It's a slightly different feeling to that because that really is firm. But this is a similar sort of feeling, that sort of traditional lower stack, faster, lighter, up-tempo shoe that you would put into your rotation. And you know what? I think they've nailed this. Right, so let's get on to the things I like and the things I don't like. Okay, so the things I like, I particularly like the way it looks. I love this colourway, by the way, which I shouldn't just be basing on, but I absolutely love this colourway. I love actually the low feeling of the shoe, that traditional up-tempo feeling. I like it. I like the guide rails. I don't think they're intrusive in terms of the stability. You sort of sit down in a cradle in the shoe and you don't feel the, you just don't feel all the guide rails. You just sit in that cradle and it just gives you the confidence to run fast. I like the fit and I like the price. That's probably about it in terms of likes. Now the things I don't like, well, there's not actually that much. I think the ride is firm. That's not going to appeal to many. I don't actually love it, but I don't hate it because, like I said, it's that up-tempo feeling which I really enjoy. So I don't really have a problem with it, but I think in terms of dislikes, you may not be overwhelmed by that feeling. But that's really about it, guys. Honestly, there's not much here to dislike. It is a really good up-tempo stability shoe. So I think this could answer a lot of those desires to get something a little bit quicker into your rotation if you need a stability shoe. Now this is not a race shoe, right? Let's just put that out there. This is not something I'd recommend you go and run a fast 10k race in, okay? But this is a shoe where in your plan, if you're in a plan or whatever, that you want to do some fast work, some intervals, some fartleks, some, I don't know, bit of track work, whatever it is, and you want to get out of, say, I don't know, your other stability shoe, a Vongo, or whatever you're in, or another Brooks stability shoe. This gives you an option of something faster feeling, but with that guidance in it. And that's where you've got to give Brooks kudos, because I think them putting a stability version of this shoe out is genius, because we need it. And I really recommend you have a look at this. If you're after a faster shoe and you need a stability shoe for your, and you need that shoe, that stability shoe for your workouts, it's been a long day. But my point is if you have a stability shoe and you want something that's faster feeling, I think this is the way to go. That's what I'm trying to say, okay? So look, GTS, Hyperion GTS, if you are looking for an up-tempo stability or mild stability shoe, or you have stability needs, then this is the way to go. This really is a very good shoe for those faster workouts. Yes, it's no, it's not a race day shoe. No, it's not a carbon plated super shoe to wear over a half marathon distance or anything like that. This is a shoe purely for some of those daily miles where you're doing something a little bit quicker. Okay, right, we got there in the end, people. So look, my advice to you is if you are a stability shoe wearer and you want something faster in your rotation, then have a look at the Brooks Hyperion GTS.